What's up everyone, Erika here, and I'm back today with another video for you. If you are new to my channel, I just want to give you a nice warm welcome. I have all different kinds of content for you here on my channel, ranging from makeup tutorials, DIYs, ear tutorials, some mom life, Disney vlogs, and everything else that kind of falls in between there. So if any of those are of interest to you, please don't forget to subscribe before you leave. I would so appreciate it. Now for today's video, as I mentioned, I am bringing you an ear tutorial. I will be showing you all how I created these pair of Madam Mim inspired ears from the Sword and the Stone. I gifted these ears to my friend Christina over at Playdates and Travels. She and I participated in a swap a while back, and I was so excited because she picked Madam Mim as one of her favorite underrated characters. So if you find yourself being a Sword in the Stone or Madam Mim lover, then you are in luck because we're about to get into this tutorial. If you guys have seen one of my ear tutorials, one of the few that I've done in the past, you will have seen that I use these stencils, or these little cutouts, for tracing the cardboard portion and the fabric portion for my ears. And that is all thanks to my bestie Sariea over at Dream It DIY. She is gracious enough to provide these templates for you. So I will have everything linked for you, but just know that she's the one that did all the hard work. I just printed it, traced it on an old LaCroix box, and now I use those every time I make ears. So all I'm doing is the foam batting part. I traced it 4 times, and here I'm cutting out the cardboard. This little template is for fabric. So the ear cutting line, I'm using these 2 colors of fabric. The pink is what I decided to do the fabric on the ears, and then that lavender color I just showed you is what I used for the bow. So you'll see me use that fabric a little later. So like I said, here I am. I'm just going to be showing you guys 2, but just know I've done this 4 times. We need 4 pieces of fabric and 4 pieces of cardboard. So this is me flexing, you guys. I am so cool. I now have a fabric cutter or a rotary cutter, whatever you want to call it, rotary blade. I'm leaving this in normal time so you guys can see how slow I was with this. I was very intimidated by it. My friends Nicole and Sariea both told me that, they've cut themselves plenty of times with one of these, and that petrifies me. So I was very careful. So here I'm speeding it up for you to see me cutting it out faster. I don't want to bore you guys with the whole process of me using Cricut Design Space, but I cut out an image on my Cricut of Madam Mim, and this is my first time using holographic iron-on vinyl. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I did not love this vinyl. This is iron-on vinyl from, Cricut, the brand. And here you guys see this really beautiful blue, green, purple, beautiful holographic color. When I go to iron it on, it ends up turning out a little bit more like red pink, which turned out to be fine because it does go with Madam Mim's color scheme. I just chose this blue purple color because I loved it and I thought it would pop more on the ear. So I was a little bit disappointed. So you guys will see that once I apply my little iron. So the first thing I do is I'm bringing a towel onto my workstation, and you guys know I don't like hair to be on anything that I make or send to anybody. So the first thing I do is lint roll the crap out of anything I'm working on. So here I go, and you can see it immediately. The moment I hit it, it turned a little bit of like a pink color. So here it goes on blue, but the moment I apply some heat, it turned into a little bit more of like a pink purple as opposed to a blue purple, which again is totally fine. But if you guys are thinking about making these ears, just go in with that in mind. Here is the purple fabric that I showed you guys earlier that I'm going to be making a bow out of. I am making a smaller bow than what's normal, I guess, for me. So the measurements for the fabric is going to be 6 or 4 by 6, and then the little square of felt. I usually just try to make the felt a little bit smaller than the piece of fabric, but this time I actually did 2 by 4.5. I know those measurements are super random, but I wanted to give you guys specifics. Next, I'm using my handy dandy glue gun just to secure all of the edges, to create kind of like a little seam to make sure no little fabric strands go running off anywhere. and I'm just gonna fold it over, and I will do the same thing on the other side. Here I cut just the teeniest piece of purple fabric to make the lining of the center of the bow, and there is our precious teeny tiny little bow. Moving back to the ears, I am taking all of the cardboard pieces that we took or that we cut out along with the fabric that I have ironed on, and all I'm gonna do is place a little bit of hot glue around the perimeter of the cardboard and pinch down the fabric right over it. I move super slowly with this. Sariea, when she does this, she moves so quickly. Obviously, it looks like I'm moving quickly because I sped this up, but I really take my time with this. I'm not an expert at this, and I don't like when the fabric looks super bunched up, so I am really meticulous with this part. I try to work slowly. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this same step on each portion of each ear. If you guys have seen one of my ear tutorials in the past, you will know that one of Juliana's stuffed animals didn't make it. I had to end its life a little sooner than expected to use its insides. Oh my gosh, that sounds so bad. It's fluff to make my ears. And if you guys can believe it, it is still giving so much. That it was a huge stuffed animal, shall I say. So yeah, I'm using the fluff still from the same stuffed animal, and it's working really well for me. I'm sure at some point I'll have to buy some polyfill, I believe is what it's called. But all I do is fill it to, you know, the fullness that I like, and I just kind of move it around with my finger until it's, you know, smooth enough to my liking. And then I will go ahead and seal the bottom up with some hot glue. So at this point, you should have 4 pieces to assemble your ears. So obviously you are going to glue them according to how you want them. I do apply quite a generous amount of glue because we obviously need them to stick together very well. And I was trying to show you the separation there. So this is the most ideal for when you are going to be using trim. There is going to be that gap in between the ears. So I've been loving doing trim around the ears. I think it just makes the ears look so clean and neat. I also think it just adds another fun element or another texture to the ears. So I've really been enjoying that. So here I'm applying a thin line of hot glue and then laying the trim right in between. This black Pom Pom trim I purchased from Walmart. All right, y'all, so we're moving on to a part that I feel like I still have not mastered. Wrapping the dang headband. I'm not an expert at this. If you guys have more tips and tricks for me, leave them down in the comments. I will be the first one to tell you. I am snatching up tips left and right. I was just messaging my friend Meg over at Mickey's Magic. I did take or borrow or be inspired by some of the techniques she used. So I will show you that. So all I'm doing here with my rotary cutter is I do measure out, you know, a good length of fabric, and I'm curving the edges just a little bit so that when I, you know, fold in the ends, it's a little cleaner and not so bulky with extra fabric. So here is one of those tricks that I stole from Meg over at Mickey's Magic. She uses double-sided tape, and this is just a step that I never thought of, and it really made it so much easier putting the fabric where I wanted it to be, if that makes sense. So here, obviously, this is my first time doing it, so I'm a little bit, you know, on the struggle bus, but it's okay. We figure it out. I peeled off the other side, and then here you see I literally just ran the headband over the fabric. Now all that's left to do is just glue down all the fabric onto the headband. So as I get closer to the end, you guys will see that there isn't this huge piece of fabric sticking out that wouldn't be the case if I hadn't, you know, trimmed it around the end. I don't always do that, but when I'm watching this footage back, I'm like, why don't you do that every time? It would make life so much easier. And here is hack or suggestion, whatever you want to call it, number 2 that I took from Meg over at Mickey's Magic. I have seen her use this braided trim, whatever you want to call it, on her ears. I'm lucky enough to own a pair of ears from Meg, and when I put them on, I loved this trim that she included on the headband. I feel like it really holds the ears nice and snug onto my head, but the headband itself is really comfortable. So I was like, I need to get that. I need to step up my game for the headband because I'm telling you guys, I'm determined to conquer it. So thank you, Meg. I have been loving using this trim so much. I believe I got this one from Amazon. All I'm doing is exactly what you guys are seeing, kind of the same thing with the black Pom Pom trim. I'm laying down a little bit of hot glue and just following the headband's center all the way. The goal for this is really just to try to cover up the seam of the fabric that we glued down. We don't want that ugly seam showing. So this is the perfect way to cover it up and, you know, secure the headband onto your head. Since this was my first time using this trim, I didn't know if I wanted to close up the headband first, which is what you're seeing me do now. So obviously I decided to do this last, but I have made a couple of pairs of ears since this one, and I like to close the headband up first and then lay down the trim afterwards. So I don't really do it this way anymore, but you know, to each their own. I was happy with the way these turned out just the same. All right, you guys, so next is the last step. Honestly, I'm taking another one of Sariea's awesome freebies that she gives us, the spacing template, and I'm committing to it. I am laying the headband down, I'm applying copious amounts of hot glue to the bottom of the ears, and I am going to slap that baby right onto the headband. I love this spacing template. There's no question, you know, there's no guesswork whether, you know, your headband or your ears are going to be aligned. I love that because there are some ears that I've seen made before or from small shops that just the spacing looks a little funky. So if you're making a pair for yourself and you're using this template, you literally will never have to worry about that. So I'm going to, I wanted to show you guys, I still lint roll everything. So I lint rolled the ears before I glued on the other side. The very last step is going to be to secure on this teeny tiny lavender bow. You guys guessed it, I'm using a dollop of hot glue to secure this right in the center of the headband. But something I do that I haven't seen done all the time is I do use a teeny bit of hot glue on the bottom portions of each side of the bow. So I am gluing the bottom of the bow to each set of ears, if that makes sense. I just really like to secure the bow. I have this fear that it's just gonna fly off one day. So I just want to ensure that it's gonna stay on. So that's what you'll see me doing here. And once my teeny tiny bow is secured, that is going to do it for my magnificent, marvelous, Madam Mim inspired ears that I made for my friend Christina. I really love the way that they turned out. I believe she was really happy with them. I will leave the unboxing she did, that she opened these ears up, in the description box. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of these ears in the comments, or, you know, let me know what your favorite underrated movie is. I would love to know. If you guys can believe it, these are only the third pair of ears that I have ever made. I feel like I'm still doing my best to perfect the craft. I'm definitely not an expert of any sort. No. But I am enjoying learning as I go, for sure. For now, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video, and I hope to see you back again for the next one. Bye!